Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out and reviewing the Marc Accomplice concealer. Now this is a concealer and a touch-up stick, so not only are you able to conceal at the beginning of the day, but you're also able to touch up on top of makeup throughout the day. I found that to be quite interesting because you usually cannot add concealer on top of concealer, especially once it's already been set, but this claims to be able to do that. Now this little guy retails for $32 US and it can be found in 17 different shades. I grabbed the shade Light 26 to try out today. You don't get a whole lot of product for the price, so it's quite pricey. You get 0.17 ounces worth of product, but if it does what it claims to be able to do, then I think it might be worth it, but we'll see. Now this is a long wear, full coverage, creamy concealer that is supposed to wear beautifully under or over makeup. So you're able to obviously apply it at the beginning of the day. And like I said, you can reapply it throughout the day as you need it. It's supposed to blur the look of pores, fine lines, and imperfections while hiding dark circles, blemishes, and uneven skin tones. The concealer is formulated with snow mushroom and is supposed to provide us with a smooth, hydrated look without creasing or caking. So let's go ahead and get started. Per usual, I am going to test this concealer out both with and without a color corrector. And the one that I'm using for today is the Bobbi Brown corrector in the shade Peach. So let's go ahead and get that going. I always apply my corrector before I apply my foundation, and then I will apply my concealer on top of that. So let's just grab a little bit of this corrector to see if this concealer needs a little bit of help in order to be full coverage for me. Okay, next I'm going to apply foundation. The one that I'm using for today is my Fenty Pro Filter in the shade 240. All right, foundation is done. Now it is time to conceal. I'm going to start off with this right side over here. Just going to take a little bit of that out, and then I'm going to place it directly onto the under eye area. I guess like that. Okay, let me go ahead and blend this out. Hopefully it doesn't look too gray underneath this eye because this shade is really light. Okay, so it blends out really nicely with your finger. Some concealers that I've tried to blend out using my finger, I hate doing that usually because it leaves like little stamp marks as you go along, but this one's not doing that. All right, now let's try to blend this side out. This side should look a lot better than this one. This right here, this under eye area right here, this gray cast that I have going on, this is exactly why I like to stick to concealers that are closer to my complexion, because then that way when I place them under the eye on top of dark circles, it tends to cover them up a lot better without giving me like that gray cast underneath the eyes. So perfect example is like on this side, you don't see the same grayness, like it almost looks kind of green. You don't see that same shade on the right side because I had already canceled out the darkness. So this concealer would work well with a corrector placed underneath, like as far as the shade. It won't look too off. All right, I'm going to blend it out a little bit more with my beauty blender here. All right, so now I'm going to set the concealer using my RCMA No Color powder here. Just going to take some of that and set the under eye area because I do see that it is settling into my fine lines there a little bit. Let's try to set this to prevent that from happening any further. All right, so now that the under eye area is set, it looks good. It looks good, however, it is the wrong shade. It definitely is the wrong shade because see, it just looks a little gray over here, and I don't like that. So if this works out as far as how it wears throughout the day, I'm certainly going to get the next shade up, like the next shade or two up or deeper, just so that it can match my complexion a lot better. As far as how it looks great. It looks great underneath the eyes. It really doesn't look cakey or overly done, which you all know, it's a huge thing for me. I don't want it to look like I have 50 layers of concealer and like it's caked on and it's just too much. I want it, I want concealers to look nice and smooth. This one's certainly doing that. So anyway, let me zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after initial application. All right, so there it is as far as coverage. Of course, I think this side is concealing a lot better than this side. Both sides look really good to me. They look pretty smooth and it feels really lightweight. All right, so now that we're done with that, let me jump off camera really quickly in order to finish the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back, makeup is done. It looks good up close as far as how it's wearing. Now, it's not doing a whole lot of concealing. I mean, you can clearly see darkness underneath, obviously more so on this side than on this side. This is just the wrong shade for me. And I honestly, like, now that I think about it, I don't even know why I chose this particular shade, Light 26. Like, I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased it. And then when I took it out of the tube, I was like, oh, you know what? It might actually, like, I think it looks like it could be a good concealer shade for me. But then once you apply it, it goes on a lot lighter than I was expecting. So we're going to try not to focus too much on that. I'm going to try to focus more so on how it's wearing. And also, when I come back for my midday check-in, I'm going to try to add some concealer on top of this. You know, I've already applied concealer. I've set it with a powder. I'm going to try to apply more concealer on top because that right there is just, I don't know. It sounds too good to be true to be able to apply more concealer on top of what you've already concealed and set. Like, that would be amazing, especially with holiday parties coming up because, you know, you wear your concealer all throughout the day and then you need to touch up, and some people don't have time to like go home and redo their makeup and then go to their holiday party. Like, you have to go straight after work, and this would be perfect. This would be perfect, but we'll see. We'll see how it wears. It is currently 10:12. I do plan on wearing this the entire day. And like I said, I'm going to come back halfway through the day in order to not only show you all some close-ups, but also to try and apply a little bit more of this concealer and see what that looks like. So I will see you all back here in a few hours for my midday check-in. Okay, so now I'm back for my midday check-in. It is currently 2:40. So I've had this concealer on now for about a little over 4 hours. Now, before I get into my midday thoughts on the concealer, and also before we get into applying a little bit more, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after a little over 4 hours of wear. All right, so this is the under eye area so far. I like the way that it is wearing. However, it's not full coverage, at least not to me, and at least not with this shade. So perhaps if I grabbed a different shade, like the right shade for my skin tone, then maybe it would be a little bit better. But I like the way that it is wearing as of right now. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and add a little bit more to see what that looks like. So I'm just gonna grab it with my finger, and then perhaps I'll blend it out with my beauty blender, although it's no longer really that damp because it's from this morning. So let me try to blend it out with my finger. I'm just gonna grab a little bit, and you're supposed to be able to apply this on top of makeup. It says it right on the website. So I'm hoping that this doesn't mess anything up or that it doesn't look bad under the eyes. I'm getting a lot better coverage this way. Like, just even that little bit, it looks a lot better. Like, you can see the difference between this. I would consider more full coverage on this half, and this, of course, not so full. Let's see. This is like some sort of magic. It doesn't look bad. Usually, you know what? I'm guilty. I have tried to apply a little bit more concealer throughout the day, here and there. I have tried it in the past, and it never works out. It never works out because whenever you apply more concealer on top of what you've already set, it sometimes lifts like the powder and then a little bit of the concealer from underneath, and it just starts looking really patchy, and it doesn't look good at all. I could not wait to wash my makeup off the times that I've tried it with different concealers. This, like, you can actually reapply. All right, now let's try the other side. Okay, I'm gonna try, this is not damp really at all, but I'm still gonna try to just use this in order to blend it out a little bit more. I like using my finger, but I just don't feel like it blends out the same way that like a beauty sponge does or a makeup sponge does. I'm just gonna try to blend out here along the edges. And now, let me set it again with just a little bit of powder. Very, very little. Okay, so I'm kind of impressed and I'm a little shocked by the fact that that works. Like adding more concealer, it does not look bad at all. So let me zoom you all in again so that you can see exactly what reapplying this concealer onto already set makeup looks like. All right, there it is. See what I mean? I got better coverage, obviously, because there's more concealer underneath, and it still doesn't look cakey or overly done, at least not to me. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. All right, so I will continue to wear this for the remainder of the day, which to me, it's probably going to be about, what, like another 4 hours, another 4 or 5 hours, just to see what it looks like at the end of the day, whether or not adding more affects the way that it wears. If it starts looking like really bad because we did add more, who knows? We shall see at that time. So I will see you all back here in a few more hours for my final thoughts on this concealer. Okay, so now I am back for my final check-in. It is currently 7:32. So I've had this concealer on now for a little over 9 hours, I believe. I think, a little over 9 hours. Now, before I get into my overall thoughts on this concealer, I'm going to zoom you all in one last time so that you can get a better look at the under eye area after 9 hours of wear. All right, so this is what the under eye area currently looks like. Definitely feel like I got better coverage over here on the side that I color corrected than I did over here. Other than that though, I feel like it still looks pretty good, especially for it being a long 9-hour day. All right, so now that you've gotten an up close look at the concealer, what do I think about it? I like it. I like this concealer a lot. I am very blown away by the fact that you can reapply it throughout the day and have it look nice underneath the eyes. Like, that just blows my mind because I have tried this in the past. I've tried it many times, and every single time that I try it, I end up ruining the under eye area. It just looks so bad, so much so that I've had to wash everything off and start all over when I did not want to, like that's what I was trying to avoid. I've had to redo it, the whole thing over again because I was trying to reapply throughout the day, and it's just, I don't know how long I waited for a concealer like this. I don't know of any other concealer that you can reapply throughout the day. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you know of any concealer that you can reapply throughout the day and not have it look horrible, because I had not found one until this one. This one looks nice. You can reapply it. It's not a big deal. It's not going to move or shift anything underneath around. It's not going to look patchy, and it's not going to look overly done. I love that fact. The only issue is that I grabbed the wrong shade. That's my fault completely. So I am going to be purchasing a different shade, and I will share with you all on Instagram what I decide on after I choose it. I will probably order it within the next few days. So make sure that if you don't follow me on Instagram and you have Instagram, that you follow me on there. I truly mean it when I say that I love to interact with you all on Instagram. We go back and forth on questions, on suggestions, on product review requests, stuff like that. So make sure that you follow me on there, and then I will post it on Insta stories what I decide on purchasing, and then I will follow up there as well once I use a different shade, whether or not that like covered up the darkness a little bit better, because as of right now I don't feel like it really has, but I think it has a lot to do with the shade that I purchased. However, this gave me pretty good coverage, even though it was not the right shade. This side over here looks pretty concealed to me. I mean, maybe a little bit of darkness peeking through right here, but you can reapply this throughout the day. Like, how crazy is that? You can reapply it and it doesn't look awful. I love that fact. It is a little pricey. It's a little pricey, especially for the amount of product that you get. It's a little, prices up here, product amount is down here, you know what I mean? So it's a little pricey, but after what I've seen it do today, it's worth it. It's worth it to me. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this Marc Jacobs Accomplice concealer. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review and that you found it helpful. Follow me on Instagram so that you can stay up to date with anything and everything going on behind the scenes, kind of, you know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.